Welcome back to Chosen, Discover Life for True Parents World. Amazing. You're in the right place. I'm glad you made it. During this 21 episode docuseries, we are exploring the lives of our true parents who are, without a doubt, let me say, the most fearless and committed leaders of all time. If you've never heard of our precious true parents, do not worry. You're in the right place. You're going to find out all you need to know. Yesterday, we enjoyed the second part of a two-part story on Christianity in America. Did you enjoy it? For those of you wondering if there will be more on that topic this week, the answer is, drum roll, of course. What do you think? All the work that we've been putting in over the last 4 years, especially with Christianity in America, we're not going to talk about it? Yes, we will. We will, and we'll come back soon on that. But in the meantime, we have what you might say some even bigger stories to dive into. By the way, this is where I would usually say, if you missed, any of the last few episodes, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. But I got to say, actually, if you missed yesterday or the day before yesterday, any of the last 3 or 4 days, especially, the truth is you better be worried. In fact, if I was you, I'd be freaking out right now. But you can take away the pain. Don't even think about delaying another minute before you hit the button right there. For $47, you'll have lifetime access to everything. Why not? Guys, I hope you have your suntan lotion ready. I hope you have, I don't know if you need gloves, some very, some flat shoes that have good grip. I don't know all the things you really need at high seas, but I hope you're ready because we're going into our featured story. We all know that True Father did a lot of fishing. And by that, I mean a lot of fishing. A casual observer would simply say that Reverend Moon loves to fish. But the reality of True Father and the ocean is so much more than that. Sorry to say, the casual observer is going to be way off on this one. What Father loved was to challenge his own limits to the fullest, and ours as well. And he loved to meet God eye to eye in the real world. Whoosh. You have to find God in the ocean, he would say. It would take high winds, like very high winds and a very angry ocean before Father would even consider about calling a day off. When other fishermen discovered that true parents were getting up at 4 a.m. in the morning to go out and get to the fishing grounds by 5 a.m., the other fishermen began imitating them. They learned from Father and copied him. So what did true parents do? They started getting up at 3 a.m. and then 2 a.m. to get there first. True parents don't know what second place tastes like. It's not an overstatement to say that true parents literally saved the East Coast fishing industry. When he started fishing, tuna, get this, tuna was being sold to dog food companies for 5 cents on the pound. But Father, the mastermind in so many things, saw an opportunity to open up the highly lucrative Japanese markets where giant bluefin would sell for several $1,000s. I predict that a great many books will be written about the beautiful, closely woven relationship between true parents and the vast waters that make up 2/3 of our beautiful planet. But we only have an hour, so let's get started as we dive deep into the story of true parents and the ocean, which is a metaphor for God's deep and wide heart. Moments ago, we met with Jack Sato. Now, Jack will be our boat captain for tonight's expedition, folks. Today's feature is called The Ocean, God's Heart, Deep and Wide. Please enjoy.
Strike Molly! Strike Molly!
When true parents came to United States, he went to Gloucester area, and he saw the fishing town is really dying out. And the reason was because those American people didn't eat fish that time. Maybe eat some fish, but not sushi, no raw fish, and the fish was not so popular in the United States. That's why even fishermen, they caught a fish, but didn't get a reasonable price for that. That's why fishing town, Gloucester, those areas was really dying. And because of those environment, those young people had no hope for the future. And many of them kind of deal with a drug, and many drugs come through a fishing port. So true father thought, oh, really have to change this fishing town. And true parents trying to establish those ocean church. Through ocean church, trying to educate those people in the fishing town. And at the same time, even for them to make more money, trying to pay higher price for the fish. And once they become a little bit wealthy than before, and people start having a dream, they can see more clear future for their life better than before. And I think that was the kind of beginning of Ocean Church or Ocean Providence for me to, from my point of view. So when true parents came to United States, they tried to kind of set the economic foundation. Then in order to do that, I think true parents look for many industries. When he looked at the many industries, most of the industry were taken by big company, and even he used to do those metal recycling in Japan or Korea. But even those businesses are taken by mafia, controlled by mafia. So there are no place for true parents to set the economic foundation in the United States. But when they look at the seafood industry, they didn't find any owner of the seafood industry. Their father really loved ocean and the fishing. So he started getting into this seafood industry in the United States.
Possibly the most controversial religious group in this country is the Unification Church, the Church of the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. For the most part, Americans perceive the church as one of those strange cults, something sinister, a threat to the susceptibilities of young America. Well, it seems that the church, apart from trying to win hearts and minds, is engaged in an even bigger crusade to take over one of the oldest and most valuable resources of this country, its fishing industry. Gloucester, its name, its look, is synonymous with the sea. For more than 350 years, Gloucester has been sending its sons down to the sea in ships. They are proud of themselves and their work, and they do not easily embrace strangers. Especially strangers like these, in new boats, big and small, boats owned and piloted by members of the Unification Church, Moonies. The term used to be pejorative, but now even the Moonies call themselves Moonies. So for the moment, the Moonies, church or business or both, will prevail here in Gloucester and probably elsewhere as well.
True parents has such a big kind of vision once they establish those foundations. So like a vertical integration from building a boat, catching a fish, and distribute a fish. Process fish, distribute fish, and serve fish at a restaurant. So he was really into it, and he chose some Japanese leaders. And for building a boat, Mr. Kamiyama and Mr. Sato were assigned to build a boat. And Mr. Furuta was assigned to do ocean-related business. So as I think most of people know that like building a boat, like we have a master marine and catching fish. Now ocean peace, Mike Farris is in charge and they are doing really great. And the processing, we have a Shining Ocean, ISA before. And now we have a seafood distribution companies like Ocean Providence. And we have our own restaurant. And American people, the diet was really unhealthy because their main diet was kind of red meat, beef, and some pork and chicken. And the true parents really want to change their healthy diet to eat more fish and become more healthy. So he introduced the sushi or Japanese food into United States. Then when father asked us to open the Japanese restaurant, there are not so many Japanese restaurants in the United States. But timing was not really mature, but even in the United States, we are the one who pioneered those Japanese restaurant business in the United States to introduce a healthy diet to American people.
Why do you like coming to a Japanese restaurant? What is it that you like about Japanese food?
It's healthy, it's fun to eat, there's a lot of little tastes, a lot of variety. And the sushi bar atmosphere is very nice. You can, sit and read or talk to friends. This is a yellowtail scallion. It's good. It is.
I like everything about Japanese food. It's light, tasty. It's excellent, healthy.
It doesn't have a lot of calories. It's tasty. We like the fresh fish, and the atmosphere is very nice.
Japanese dishes strike you as very unusual or something you would never try?
Well, the whole idea of raw fish. But I try not to think about it in terms of that. I just eat it, and if I like the way it tastes, then I don't let the idea of the raw fish get to me, because it could get to me.
Through further, after Washington rally around 1976, True parents asked all Japanese members coming to New York area. Then that time he asked Japanese members, okay, we gotta start doing seafood business in the United States. Then that time he gave $100 to some Japanese members. The reason why True parents chose Japanese members, because Japanese people know, how to catch, how to process, how to cook the fish. And he said, those are fishes in your DNA, something like this. So that's why True parents use Japanese member for the seafood business. And around 1976, those $100 member, Mr. Yashiro, Jimmy Watanabe, Mr. Ono, Mr. Okada, many Japanese members. And 1978, we bought a Japanese restaurant in the New York area. This is the first one. Then we bought this Japanese restaurant, and this business went really good. And they made a pretty big donation to the church. And I think Mr. Kamiyama reported, hey, father, we bought a Japanese restaurant, and this business went really well. Then true father asked, oh, in order to change American people's diet from meat to fish, we had to open up 1,000 restaurants. But 1,000 restaurants kind of beyond our imagination that time. Then father asked, hey, we had to open 100 Japanese restaurants in each state. Then each member kind of assigned for each state. They open up one by one. This is how kind of restaurant providence started. And restaurant has and the true parents has a purpose for the restaurant business. The one is kind of more externally, like make more profit, and this profit can support local church and those local members local members who work for the restaurant for the kind of external side. But internally, he really emphasized us to witness those people through restaurant. So that time when we open new Japanese restaurant in some state, city mayor comes. And we can start having those public relationship with city mayors and the member of the diet. And at the same time, those people we start witnessing some church ministers. We can invite them to our restaurant to serve the Japanese food. So True Father has a really supporting economy foundation plus to the witnessing for the American people. And one restaurant in Indiana, when those Vice President Pence was a governor of Indiana, this restaurant manager went to his house to serve sushi as a catering because Governor Pence was a member of US-Japanese Association or something. That's why we are invited to attend. So through Japanese restaurant, there are so many things we can do. That's why I think True Parents really want to establish Japanese restaurant throughout the United States. And other things is when True Parents had a 50-state tour in the United States. So whenever True Parents came, those restaurants can support serving True Parents. And some kind of rural area, kind of countryside, not so many members there. But we have a Japanese restaurant. So we make this restaurant as a base for the witnessing or mobilizing people to the rally. So it was really kind of supporting those provinces too. So I think restaurant has such a great meaning for this providence. It was really difficult to operate those 50 restaurants. One moment we had almost close to 100 restaurants. But members didn't have a kind of management skill and they don't know how to take care of the customers. That's why even we open 100 restaurants, number of restaurants decreasing, year by year. And that was kind of sad part. But some restaurants are really doing good. But now we have only around 10 restaurants in the United States as a restaurant group. So when True Mother came to Las Vegas 2014, January, she kind of invited all restaurant managers at Chonwagun in Las Vegas. At that time, True Mother asked all restaurant managers, hey, you guys, what True Father asked you to do with restaurant business? And most of them say, yeah, Father asked us to open 100 restaurants in each state. But have you done it? But I said, no, we haven't done it yet. So if you promise to True Father, you really have to accomplish this. So I give you this goal to accomplishing what you promised to your father from now on. So now restaurant managers are really getting together to how to expand this restaurant business Providence again. This is where we are now for restaurant business.
The reason Reverend Moon set out tuna fishing, this was a condition that he was doing for the Washington Monument speech, for the bicentennial of America. This was a pivotal moment in his life and his mission, and this was the internal condition that he was doing in a microcosmic level, and it was taking place in Cape Cod Bay. And he worked feverishly, and he endured so much. Each fish was symbolic of a great person that could do something to help turn America around. The fish that Reverend Moon would catch wouldn't go into market. He would only give them to the members. And the members at 43rd Street, or the members at Ferrytown, the members at different places, that fish would end up there. And almost always it would be divided half raw, half cooked. Half for the Japanese members, half for the Western members.
like a true father trained many members through fishing, right? And once you go out fishing on the ocean, there's so many things that happen. When you have a stormy days, the boat is up and down, and almost you get seasick. So no matter what, this situation make you feel, oh, I need to pray. But once you get seasick, some people say, oh, can I go home to pray for God? But once you go out on the ocean, you cannot come back until everybody is ready to go back. They can learn those teamwork, because centered on both captains, they can really unite together. If they don't unite together, somebody get injured, then somebody has a fight or something like this. So fishing is really great training for all those members. And even further ask those UTS graduate have to go through those ocean challenge in Gloucester, Ocean Church. So it is really great spiritual training for all members. And even when I was in Los Angeles around 1989, they had a kind of ocean challenge program. This program is kind of trying to educate those dropout kids, some gang, some kids with a problem through this kind of going out of the ocean with a boat and fishing. This was kind of, we work with the city of Long Beach, and all those kids at the beginning kind of they say, hey, I don't want to listen to you, I don't want to work with you, this and this. But once they start going out to the ocean, if they don't kind of unite with boat captain, they cannot go back. So they have to change their mindset, and they really have to start respecting boat captain. And on the boat, you have to do so many things. Or you have to prepare for the fishing rod, prepare for the bait. So when you're coming back to the dock, you have to put those buoy on the side of the boat. And many kids kind of getting positive about this Ocean Challenge program. And even City of Long Beach gave us a mini award for this program. So fishing and this go on a boat is really great practice for not only members, but also anybody in the world, I believe. So I started 1984 from Los Angeles. And during the time until now, for involving in the Ocean Providence is such a blessing, because like we used to go to Kodiak, Alaska every summer. The children parents came. We had a really kind of close relationship with them, which many members couldn't have. Involving the Ocean Province, we have so much blessing from children parents, and even on the business side, we learn so many kind of management skills, how to deal with people, and even not to kind of live for sake of others. So dealing with customers and the vendors, if we become greedy, they can feel. But if we kind of use true, or really have to work together, this kind of motivation atmosphere we have, they understand. So many those customers or vendors, they think, oh, we're happy to work with you guys. You guys are really honest, and they say, I don't know about true parents much, but I think their teaching is right, because looking at you guys doing okay. something like this. Well, every summer we went to Kodiak until 2011. The 2011 July was the last visit for True Parent. And True Father went to fishing for the Chignac area, and they set a tent, and they went out to fishing, come back. Then I was able to went on a boat together with True Father. And I thought, hey, should I go on the boat? But they said, oh, come on, come on. So I was able to get on the boat. And morning fundoke time, True Parents asked me to sing a song or give some testimony. All those kind of personal experience. And True Father said, oh, True Mother and I are as a one, as a True Parent. And the True Father holds the True Mother and going around maybe 3-4 times. And as you can see, we are as a one, as a True Parents. So even after True Father ascended, many members start talking about, oh, True Mother is doing this and this. But for us, True Father clearly explained to us, hey, we are as one, as a True Parents. So we had no doubt about True Mother. So that was really good experience for me to kind of understand and understand without no doubt about True Mother's kind of authority as a begotten daughter. So I really thankful for the moment for True Parents.
Wow. Amazing. I hope you enjoyed it so far. It gets better and better. Thank you, Jack Sato, for guiding us safely through those seas. Now to go deeper, dive deeper into the story, let's get ready to welcome our special guests. Hey guys, welcome to the show. We are blessed to have with us today Mike Farris, who joined in 1975, blessed in 1982, popular year to get blessed, one of the most popular years. He serves currently as the CEO of Ocean Peace. We also have with us Susan Boisserie.
Yes, you got it.
Joined in 1980, blessed in 1995. Susan serves as our Human Resource Director for our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Family Federation for World Peace, Heavenly USA. Thank you both for coming on the program. How you doing?
Great. Yeah.
Great.
Good to see you. Susan, you were in Kodiak for 6 years, working in the realm of Ocean Church. I know that must have been very arduous, intense, difficult work at times. You spent a lot of this time with many Japanese missionaries who were there for years. I'm sure you learned a lot from all that you experienced. Could you tell us your understanding? What was True Father's initiative in Ocean Church and Ocean Providence?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Damien. Actually, my introduction to Ocean Church was a stint in Gloucester in 1983. And because Father had gathered members from different missions around the country, he spent a lot of time before the fishing ever started to really explain the vision of Ocean Church to us. And what we've been learning a lot through Chosen over the last couple of weeks about the important work that Father has to do in the religious world, bringing Christianity together, bringing faith leaders together, bringing even political leaders together. But what else is the Messiah concerned about? As the true parent, our Father was very concerned about his children around the world. And I really believe he saw the ocean as a resource to feed a hungry world and to offer resources to the world. we don't think about it so much, but 9 million people a year die of starvation. And we were starting initiatives to, catch fish, to also, we discussed farms at sea, how to use a plant life at the sea, and also the minerals that can be mined from the sea. Actually, in Kodiak, I remember there was a sister doing research on how we could take this kind of trash fish that nobody wanted, that nobody bought, and how to turn that into a fish powder that could be used as a nutritional resource for people in other countries. And finally, I think the part of the ocean providence that was Father really understood could be so appealing to people like me, to young Americans, was this aspect of adventure and excitement that could come through being out on the ocean, learning how to run a boat, learning how to catch fish and make money from that, and at the same time really share the principle with the people we were working with.
So it was exciting in its activity, but also massive, huge, like very expansive in its worldview and application.
Right. There was so much meaning to what we were doing, which with this kind of challenging work, you need meaning behind it.
Yes. As an HR director, I'm sure that's a story you could use many, many times. So, but I have to ask, Susan, how did you get caught up? What baited you into being a part of that particular providence? There was many other things, but was it because you were born in Hawaii? You're a natural?
Yeah, well, I had spent plenty of time in the water. When you're in Kodiak, you definitely don't want to go in the water. You want to stay on top of it. But I think just, first of all, because Father was doing it, that was very attractive. And Father wanted women involved. And that really appealed to me too, to kind of see if I could be able to do it. And just the challenge of doing that kind of work and making a success of it really appealed to me.
I love that. And I bet it was an incredible experience also to spend so much time with our Japanese missionaries, making sisters from the other side of the world who apparently have fishing in their DNA, we heard from Jack.
That's right. Yeah, they were amazing compatriots on this path together. It's funny, we had parallel paths, but their focus was completely different. They worked within the plant, in the fish plant. They had various jobs doing the processing, and I was out on the boat.
Right.
So we had kind of parallel courses, but I think we could give each other comfort at many times.
Sure. Sisters needed to comfort each other. I don't know how the brothers comforted each other. I'm sure they had maybe they pretended they didn't need comfort. That's part of it. I don't know. We'll ask Mike. Mike, as a CEO, you're responsible for personally overseeing like almost basically everything, all the operations of the Ocean Church and Ocean Peace. And you've probably seen it all when it comes to this industry. Could you then tell us a little bit about Father's intention, your understanding of Father's intention behind developing business in commercial fishing?
Sure. I think in the 70s, mid 70s and late 1970s, when Father began to really get focused in American fishing and vessels and so forth, I think he was pretty concerned and worried because he had thousands of young Americans that were single and were out there fundraising or witnessing, giving themselves. And we weren't really worried about money or anything like that. But Father, looking into the future, had to come up with, I think he felt responsible to come up with some type of industry that we could get involved in. Mm. And as Jack had mentioned, he looked at a few different industries and settled on commercial fishing. But part of the motivation there was, I think, to help provide an avenue for money making for the members, the long-term members, the families that we're going to be starting with the blessings and so forth. Also, practically speaking, it was a little bit downtrodden at the time, as Jack had mentioned. There was an opportunity for some organization like ours to come in and to uplift everything and turn it around, which really in some of these fishing communities would bring a lot of happiness and joy and make us automatic friends with mayors and city council people and the local folks there, because really wherever Father goes and he plants himself, everybody around there usually tends to do well. In other words, the businesses employ a lot of people. He offers a lot of jobs, not just to our members, but there's a lot of folks that are working here. I mean, there's 400 people in Ocean Peace, and only a handful are, our members. So Father brings prosperity to every place that he goes. And fishing was a brilliant vision there. So in my view, after being involved in this industry for about 25 years, so there was a lot to it. I think Father could also see in the 70s, as was mentioned there wasn't a lot of sushi restaurants, sushi bars. I had no idea what sushi was. A kid from Wisconsin.
So Father's coming in, not just looking at which industries, are potentially good money makers, but he's thinking really as a father at all aspects and looking into the future. Now, you're speaking now to his genius of being able to see down the road and look at an opportunity that many might have missed. So in the 70s, like we were listening in the video too, the fish wasn't on most tables.
Mm. Yeah.
And look at it today.
Amazing.
So there's how many sushi bars are in every one of the major cities, and they're out in the country. They're everywhere. I think Father could see there was an interest in American people, and especially American young people, in the Oriental culture, which means, ultimately leads to their food and so forth. Look at how many ramen shops there are. How many ramen shops were there, when we were kids, Susan? There wasn't, I don't even know what ramen was at that time. So I think he could see this, and it's part of his kind of genius. He's a business genius. He would be one of the, multi-billionaires if he was just out there making money for himself. But then we can see all the wonderful things he does with the money that is made.
Mm-hmm.
And getting down to the fishing part of it, it all kind of starts with catching the fish. So the most important thing is actually the ability to catch the fish and, in a sense, owning that resource, which is, if we're going to be in the fishing industry, we need to have the real access to that resource. And because we got involved in the fishing industry in the mid 70s, late 70s, early 80s, we have certain rights to that fishing resource,
right,
which have been very beneficial to our organization.
Yeah. So there was a foundation made ahead of the way, right? So Susan, I know that the Ocean Church brothers and sisters were fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with true parents. You, for instance, you actually ran the boat. You were mentioning you were on the boat. You were running the boat, responsible for taking the photos and footage of true parents as they were fishing, right? So you had to drive the boat close to Father's boat without disrupting his fishing activity. And you must have had a lot of up close and personal opportunities to see Father. Could you, from that, share with us a resident Hawaiian girl who's very familiar with the water, what kind of a fisherman was Father through your eye?
I think the best word would be relentless. It was funny because at the beginning you talked about how, the other fishermen would be learning from Father, right? And I think that happened. But he also told us to learn from others, learn what they're doing, and then make it better. And I think Father was relentless to hone his technique. The whole fishing style that we used, for example, in Gloucester for the bluefin tuna, Father created all of that. That rod and reel stuff, you need to be an expert. You lose a lot of fish if you don't know what you're doing. So we switched over to a hand lining system where once you hooked it, you had that fish. So in Kodiak, yeah, it was just so wonderful, Damien, because, you know, when we think about it, a lot of the time that brothers and sisters had with true parents was really busy doing stuff together, activity. But here we are out on the boat, 8, 10, 12 or more hours a day in Kodiak, because the sun's up all day long. You can be out there fishing for a long time. And a lot of that time was just quiet, because close to Father's boat, you didn't make noise, you didn't want to disturb anything. And what I would do, sometimes we could just anchor up nearby, and Father would be there with his many, many, many lines out. We saw in the video, right? He's sitting on the stern end with maybe 5 or 6 lines out, monitoring them all. And I would stand and watch him and copy what he did. If Father cast the line, I'd cast my line. When Father reeled in, I'd reeled in. I'd breathe the air and know that I was breathing the air the Messiah was breathing.
Wow.
And to have that kind of experience together was just unbelievable. The other thing Father was very competitive. And I think especially for brothers, this is again another real turn on, because everybody wanted to do as good as Father. And it's funny because we always hear these stories about, well, Father caught the most fish, or Father did the best, or Father gained the most this or that. And you can kind of think, yeah, right. But you know what? It was true. And I saw it over and over and over again.
Wow. Well, you got to try. You got to try beat Dad. But if you can't, you know, you're proud of Dad.
That's right.
Yeah, amazing. You know, also, Mike, you mentioned a little bit about Father's business genius and sense of the industry, but you also familiar with his.
Which he had his fair share of.
So I feel like you're describing this. You're just throwing yourself into a situation where you know you will be forced, even if unwilling, to live in the moment and to have to pay 1,000% attention for your own life, especially when, you know, those high sea moments. So did you see Father this kind of like, you know, yes, it's clearing his mind, but it's like he's also, you know, is that all you got? You know, because Father, I mean, fearless, right? Fearless in every field, every sector that he went into. Although he prayed, prepared, offered conditions, he was cautious in the sense of preparing always well, but also this sort of masculine type, thrusting yourself into the wind, into the wave. This is the picture that's painted for me. And it's almost as if that visual might be the external expression of the type of spiritual battles that Father was having to, you know, climb wherever he was in the world. Does that make sense? Mike?
Damon, you cut out there for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I didn't catch the last
relationship with the intensity of it, the intensity of the ocean and how it reflects on the internal spiritual battles that Father and Mother, our whole organization, was facing constantly.
Well, we know that Father loves a good challenge and that he believed in restoration through indemnity. And that was a big part of everything in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It was always, you know, restoration through indemnity. And we all know that he pushed himself without sleep and without food and without regard for himself all through his life. And that was demonstrated out on the water. Fishing, for those that are serious like Father, is really hard work. And on top of that, you have to battle the wind and the waves and seasickness and a bunch of other things that can go wrong on a boat and make things even more difficult than what they really should be.
Yeah.
So your vision, Damien, of Father out there behind a wheel and challenging. Earlier we heard about him making, you know, conditions. Those are indemnity conditions. It is giving your whole heart and soul and investing himself the way he did, thinking all of this through, I think, on the ocean. And it's not easy to be around Father on a boat. That's not going to be easy. To be around him at all really is, you know, it's really not easy to hang around
It's
true parents.
intense.
It's pretty intense.
It's already intense. Now take that intensity and put it out at high C. Oh my gosh. Wow, Mike, thank you. Amazing. Susan, I know you've had so many memories, right? Experiences, memories, Ocean Church. You also saw Mother on the boat many times with Father.
Mhm.
And I heard that you have a particular story about Mother feeding candy to Father or something like that. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, Father liked bit of honey. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of
I
a little
love those. Yeah, I
chewy
love
candy.
those chewy. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you can feel more connected to Father as you
No,
enjoy.
now I know why I like him. Okay.
But you know, Father's busy. He's using his hands. He's minding the lines and stuff. So all day long, Mother would be unwrapping these little candies and popping them into his mouth. And you know, at the end of the day, we all worked together to clean up the boat, right? Prepare to go out early the next day. There would be a fair share of bit of honey wrappers all over the boat.
Did you ever keep one for?
Oh yeah, we shared all the goodies that were left over on the boat because we knew there'd be a new supply of them the next day.
You know, I've got to say, for all of our Ocean Church, Ocean Peace, everybody in this part of the Providence, I know and I appreciate. You know, I wasn't there personally with you. I know there's so many more stories, but I do feel that there's a really unique flavor of your relationship with true parents.
Yeah.
Having been able to, you know, build a part of your relationship with Father and Mother through these types of experiences. I can feel it. I know, I hope that those of you that, you know, have been on the ocean with true parents agree. I'm sure that those watching can feel there's a special vibe about you and all those that have invested in it. Also the restaurant, you know, the whole connection. It's a miracle. It's another one of True Parents' miracle stories. And thank you also, Mike, for all you're doing to run such an incredible professional operation. We should do a few episodes just on how you're running really our most successful, you know, business venture out there, and on such an incredible foundation, so many conditions laid. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you, Susan. I don't know what everybody's planning to eat tonight, but I'm guessing there might be a few of you thinking about maybe ordering a sushi platter about now. Thank you so much for coming on. In the meantime, stay safe and hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Right now, to wrap up, we're going to go to you and see what you and the live studio audience have to say with some of our special comments. All right, well, we have another batch comment list. This is when our producers find that there's just too many good things to say. They try to squeeze it all onto one. I guess that also has something to do with the length of the comment. So we have a few comments from folks seeing Father fish. Reactions to watching Father fish. Catherine says, Father is so cool. Ian says, true Father can literally do anything. Wow. Milhan says, so boss. And Maurice, our true Father was the strongest man in the world. And it's kind of interesting. I think we have two sisters and two brothers here. So Father is cool. He can do anything. That's, at least in this case, I think a sister's response. And then the two brothers are like, yeah, so boss. He's the strongest man in the world. So we relate differently. Natasha says, thank you, Reverend Jack Sato. My name is Natasha. I am 10 years old. I went fishing 3 weeks ago and I couldn't catch any fish. I prayed to True Father. About 5 minutes after my prayer, I caught a fish. Your testimony really touched my heart. Wow. Natasha, I think your comment touched everybody's heart. Certainly touched my heart. Thank you, Natasha. All right, straight to the village square. What are all the youngsters all up in a rave about? We've got these grandmas here looking at their Instagram account and noticing endless testimonies about the Mother of Peace, themotherofpeace.com, where you can find out more about our precious only begotten daughter, the true mother of heaven, earth, humankind. Guys, she's up all night. She's up all day working for us, up all night praying for us. Read that book and you'll find out why.